Welcome to today's session. So today we're going to start looking at the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system. The female reproductive system includes internal reproductive organs and external reproductive organs. The internal reproductive organs include paired ovaries. These ones over here, these are the ones that are homologous with the male testis. They're the ones that are the endocrine part of the female reproductive system. They are the ones that produce hormones needed for reproduction, okay? And then we have paired uterine tubes, also known as fallopian tubes, one on each side of the uterus, extending laterally. And then we have one uterus, a single uterus, and we have a single vagina, which in this diagram has been cut off. Okay, this is a diagram showing us and almost the same things that we have talked about. We have the two fallopian tubes. The ovaries are supposed to be somewhere here. We have the uterus itself. We have the vagina, and it's showing us the parts of the uterus. We have the body and the cervix. Okay, and then this dome-like structure on top of the uterus is known as the fundus. And then we have the external genital organs or the external reproductive organs of the female, and these are collectively known as the pudendum or the vulva, and this includes one, the mons pubis, the portion where hair grows, okay, on the anterior aspect of the symphysis pubis. And then we have the labia majora over there. We have the labia minora. We have the clitoris. We have the vestibule. It's in between the two labia minora. Okay. And we have the bulbs of the vestibule. We're going to see them once we start looking at the external reproductive organs of the female, and then the greater vestibular glands. All right, those are the organs of the female reproductive system. So we're going to start by looking at the organs of the internal female reproductive organs. The first we're going to look at will be the ovaries. The ovaries are almond shaped. They're shaped like an almond, okay? And this is the organ in which we have the development of oocytes, the female gamete. There are also endocrine glands, and these endocrine glands produce reproductive hormones. All right. Each ovary is about 3 centimeters long. All right. About 3 centimeters long, about 1.5 centimeters wide. Okay. And about 1 centimeter thick, and suspended by a short peritoneal fold or mesentery, also known as the mesovarium, okay, also known as the mesovarium. So if you look at this mesentery here, all right, this is the one that suspends the ovary over there, all right. This is the one that is known as the mesovarium, or the ovary of, or the ligament of the ovaries. Okay, the ligament of the ovaries. Okay, and we have this mesovarium is continuous with the broad ligament. All right, it is continuous with the broad ligament. All right, that is what suspends it. So this is just yet another diagram showing us the position of the ovaries in this diagram. So after puberty, the ovarian surface epithelium, meaning the epithelium that covers the ovary, becomes progressively scarred. Now, this is because every month, this human being is going to be undergoing what is known as ovulation. There's going to be breaking of the of the follicles. Okay, the follicles that will be maturing every month will be breaking out of the ovary. And so every time one breaks out, there's going to be a small wound, and there's going to be healing by fibrosis, leaving fibrous tissue over there. And so this ovary is going to start appearing scarred. Okay, so in women who are taking oral contraceptives that inhibit ovulation, you find that the ovary will appear much, much smoother. All right. And so we are saying that each ovary lies in a space known as the ovarian fossa on the lateral pelvic wall. Okay, in a space known as the ovarian fossa. Okay, so like if you look at this diagram, we're looking at an actual picture of an abdomen that has been opened. This is a pelvic cavity. And we have the uterus over there. We have the ovarian tubes. Okay, these are the fallopian tubes or the uterine tubes. All right. And they're supposed to come in that direction. And then we have the ovary over here. Okay, this ovary has been retracted so that we're able to see what is underneath. Otherwise, this is our fallopian tube, okay, coming from the uterine end. Okay, and then we have some of the ligaments that hold the ovary together. Okay, we have some of the ligaments that hold the ovary together. All right. And then the first one we're going to look at is what is known as the infundibulopelvic ovarian ligament. Okay. The infundibulopelvic ovarian ligament. Okay. This is the infundibulopelvic ovarian ligament. This is a fold from the peritoneum. Remember the peritoneum, when we did the GIT, we looked at the peritoneal cavity and the peritoneum. So this ligament is coming from the peritoneum, okay? It is a peritoneal fold that is attached to the upper part of the lateral surface of the ovary and contains ovarian vessels and nerves, all right? So this is the infundibular pelvic ligament. Okay, that is our infundibular pelvic ligament. And then we have the ovarian ligament. All right, we have the ovarian ligament, which attaches the uterine extremity of the ovary. This extremity of the ovary, it attaches it. The ovarian ligament attaches attaches this extremity of the ovary to the posterior inferior side of the uterine tube. Okay, so it goes and attaches it over there. This is the ovarian ligament. It lies in the posterior leaf of the broad ligament, okay, of this whole broad ligament that covers the uterus, and contains some smooth muscle cells. Okay, contains some smooth muscle cells. And then the third ligament we will note is the mesovarium, which is also a short peritoneal fold that attaches the ovary to the back of the broad ligament. Okay, to the back of the broad ligament. It carries blood vessels and nerves to the ovarian hilum. All right, so we have the mesovarium over here, all right, which is continuous with the mesosalpinx. This is a ligament also for the uterine tubes, all right, continuous with the mesovarium over here. And so what we're saying is that there is this broad ligament, okay, this broad ligament here, depending on which part the broad ligament is at, it is named according to that particular part. So the part that is supporting the ovary is known as the mesovarium. It's here. And then the part that is supporting the uterine tube is known as the mesosalpinx over here. Okay, the one that is supporting the uterus is known as the mesometrium over here. That is what we're saying. So in general, if we're talking about the ligaments of the ovary, we're talking about one, the ovarian ligament over here, which attaches the ovary to a portion of the uterine tube. Then we are talking about what is known as an infundibulopelvic ligament, which attaches the ovary, okay, which is a fold of the peritoneum and comes and attaches to the lateral portion of the ovary. All right. And then we have the mesosalpinx, which is continuous with the broad ligament. Okay, which is continuous with the broad ligament. So that is the gross anatomy of the ovary. Let us now look at the histology of the ovary. If you were to cut this ovary in half and you want to look at it, you want to see what happens inside the ovary, this is what you're going to see. Okay, so we're saying in young females, the surface of the ovary is covered by a single layer of cuboidal epithelium. All right, so this surface, okay, would be covered with a single layer of cuboidal epithelium. It appears dull white in color. The surface epithelium is termed the germinal epithelium. All right, the surface epithelium is termed the germinal epithelium. Okay. Beneath the epithelium is a tough collagenous coat, which is known as the tunica albuginea. This lining over here, that is the tunica albuginea. All right, very, very tough connective tissue sheath. The ovarian tissue itself consists of the cortex, all right, and then in the middle we have the medulla. So we are going to find that on the outside, we have the surface epithelium, which is made of cuboidal epithelium. And then we are going to have just immediately internal to the surface epithelium, we're going to find connective tissue, a connective tissue layer known as the tunica albuginea. And then right internal to the tunica albuginea, we're going to find this layer, okay, this layer of the ovary where you are going to find all these follicles that are developing, and this layer is what is going to be known as the cortex. And then in the middle here where you're going to find blood vessels, you're going to find connective tissue, you're going to find nerve endings, you're going to find lymphatics. That is the medulla, okay? That is the medulla. So that is the histology of the ovaries. And now let us look at the fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes are also known as the uterine tubes. The uterine tubes are attached to the upper part of the body of the uterus, and their ostia open into the uterine cavity. Here we have this opening into the uterine cavity. Okay, now the medial opening, this is the lateral opening, this is the medial opening. The medial opening of the tube is located at the superior angle of the uterine cavity, obviously at the superior angle of the uterine cavity. The tube passes laterally and superiorly and consists of four main parts, okay? We have four main parts of the tube. We have, first of all, the intramural part, all right? And then we have the isthmus, okay? Then we have the ampulla, and then we have the infundibulum, all right? These are the four main parts of the uterine tube. So the intramural is just about 0.7 millimeters wide. It's not very wide. In fact, it is the thinnest, okay? 0.7 millimeters wide and 1 centimeter long. Meaning it's not even that long either. 1 centimeter long and lies within the myometrium. I'm sure you can see that it lies, the myometrium is a layer of the uterus. So we're going to, of the uterine wall. So you're going to notice that this intramural part lies within the wall of the uterus. Okay, it is continuous laterally with this other portion known as the isthmus. Okay, the isthmus is also just about 1.5 millimeters wide, not that much wider than the intramural part. Okay, and then 3 centimeters long. All right, it's surrounded by muscular by muscles, and it is firm. The isthmus is continuous laterally with the ampulla. Okay, it is continuous laterally with the ampulla. The ampulla itself is about 5 centimeters long, has a thin wall, all right, and tortuous folded luminous surface. So inside the luminous surface is folded. It is held in folds. Typically, fertilization takes place in the ampulla. So that is the normal thing to happen. Fertilization will take place in the what? In the ampulla. Okay, and then the last portion of the fallopian tubes is the infundibulum. This is a trumpet-shaped part of the uterine tube. It is shaped. It is shaped. Okay, so this is the trumpet-shaped portion of the uterine tube. It is the widest part of the tube. The luminal diameter is about 1 centimeter. Okay, the luminal diameter from this wall to this wall is about 1 centimeter. Okay, and then it has numerous finger-like projections. Numerous finger-like projections known as fimbria. Okay, fimbria. These fimbria are about 1 millimeter wide, about 1 millimeter wide, and attached to the ends of this infundibulum. Okay, now we have one long fimbria, which is known as the ovarian fimbria. Okay, this one is longer and much more grooved than the others. Okay, this one is the one that attaches to the tubal pore. This pore that is near the tube, or is known as the tubal pore of the ovary. Remember, this is the ovary. We have the uterine pore over here. We have the tubal pore over here, and so we have this fimbria coming to attach to this tubal pore. At the time of ovulation, the fimbria swell.